Hello everybody, welcome back to the Cosmic Games Gamer Podcast. Today I am joined by Kaon Secrets from Optimized Productions, Hot Games, and yours truly. Thank you guys for coming out.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It is good to be
It's
here.
really late where I'm at. You guys are there later than I am,
So let's jump right into it. I wanted to hear your guys' take on the new Mass Effect 5, not Mass Effect, Gears of War 5 that's coming out. What do you guys think about that?
Honestly, I haven't finished Gears of War 4 yet, and now that I hear that this Gears of War 5 is coming out, I'd rather go complete it.
I truly don't have any thoughts on it. I don't know. Far Cry.
Okay, sorry, I had a fan in the background. Okay, so now I think we can talk about the, I know we talked about it in the last episode, but the new Call of Duty game that's coming out, Kaon Secrets told us he had some cool little Easter eggs about it. Kaon, how about you tell us?
It's not really from me. I read it on the news on my phone, but it's a really strange Easter egg. So it's basically where you're invading a house in some level, I forgot. You're using night vision. I know that. I don't know much about COD, but I know a lot. It's the first time. I know a bit about COD. I've played some of the games, and from friends, not like myself, but there's this one strange thing. I'm not even sure if it's an Easter egg, but there's one strange thing where you're invading a house full of women and babies and apartments, where you break into the woman 3's room. She's like, please don't shoot the baby. And then there's a problem with it, because when you shoot the lady, you don't get much consequence. Your only consequence is just your leader is saying what's wrong with you. But when you shoot the baby, your game restarts. But then when you shoot the baby repeatedly, like after every time the game starts, you get this little message called some sort, like, you monster, you soulless being. You keep doing that after those warnings, you are kicked off the map and you're back to the menu of the map, and then you gotta restart that. It's really strange. It's a little disturbing in a way, but it's really strange. I've never seen such a thing before.
Yeah, that's a very interesting little detail.
That's very interesting. Glad to see that actually COD has taken lives into effect.
Yeah, they actually added a lot more freedom of consequences and
I know, I thought that was
events.
I think that's very cool. I never even heard about that.
It's like really intriguing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's nice to know that games like this are thinking about, people, and they know. Yeah, they're thinking of effects. And speaking of effects, there's all these games that are RPGs, and Call of Duty is not an RPG, right? It's a first-person shooter, so that's really cool seeing consequences from your actions in a game like that. Okay, coming up next, we have...
reminded me of something. Like a hot topic with my friend.
Any new games any of you are excited about, or any games that recently you've been playing and you've been enjoying? Anyone?
Well, I would want to say Fortnite Chapter 2.
Yes.
I really love the update so far. It's just some of the stuff, it is a good idea, really good add-ons, bigger map. It's just a little problem with transportation, like the boats.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah, because it's just too big.
So I don't necessarily like Fortnite that much. It's not a very favorite game.
I don't like it, but I'm fun playing with it.
But
with the new add-ons, it's a little easier.
No. Don't get me wrong. It is a very I don't know, like immersive game.
The people.
And honestly, if they would have just stuck with the save the world mode, I feel that they would have had their own. You know, they wouldn't have. But then again, if they didn't have the if they didn't have the battle royale mode, I feel like the game wouldn't have blown up as much. And I feel like that's why they did it.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
You know, I saw my friend playing the Save the World, and it looked like a good story mode for a game. But then you see the Battle Royale, and you're like, oh, this is like a ton of other games. And you think Fortnite's the original, but you all know that there's games before it. What are your guys' take on Fortnite copying PUBG and other Battle Royale games?
Well, my initial thought is that Battle Royale would not have existed because of Minecraft. So it was a bit technically a Hunger game, but Minecraft's just a really good game overall, even though it's like not much, but it's just enough. Especially with these new updates coming out for Minecraft, it's really good. It's starting to pop back up.
So
On trends,
Minecraft.
it toppled Fortnite.
Oh, of course, Minecraft. Minecraft is Minecraft is a really fun game. It's a really popular game. It's a great game to play. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Wait, isn't there? I feel like there's been battle royales even before that. Honestly. So I feel like we should do like a deep dive into that. Is there any battle royales per se that you guys believe or really like? I don't know, that have been older, and I guess, and it can be like, if you guys have a reasoning for saying Mario was a battle royale game, I'll believe you if you have proof. So let's talk about that. What is your guys' take on what is the oldest battle royale game you guys can think of?
Minecraft. What
Halo.
Minecraft? Halo, yeah.
Halo is a good one, and Halo is a battle royale, that's true. So, I guess since we're settled on this, let's talk about a newer console that's gaining popularity, the virtual reality world. The take on it is very...
World of VR.
The world of VR is a very interesting and intricate world that immerses the user in a it basically immerses them in the game. But there's controversy about VR. You know, some people believe it's bad, some people believe it's good. And I haven't really talked or heard about people who think it's bad. So from your guys' experience, why do you think people would think it's bad, and why do you think people would think it's resourceful?
Well, I personally think it's really resourceful that you get to be immersed in such games, such communities. It really helps to interact with a lot of people, especially. That's also the downside, because the problematic part is there are people out there that are just out of
Living their
age
lives
range
in
and out of
VR.
their maturity level.
Yeah, living their lives
Young
in
kids
VR.
are in it. Older kids could get caught with those younger kids, and they could change those kids as you know it.
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
as
Virtual reality is a very, very, very risky, honestly, platform, because you know you see these videos where it's like these little kids on VR chat, and they're little kids, and you know there's always that chance that there's like, oh, I don't know, there's the strange man, and like while they're not actually hurting a child physically, they could be hurting a child mentally by verbally or mentally by, you know, threatening them in VR chat or something like that. Hot Games, what is your take on this, always on this controversial topic? Not very controversial,
The
but
VR thing?
yeah, on VR. What is your thoughts on VR? Do you think it's problematic or resourceful?
Well, if you look at it from different angles. It can be either, really.
Elaborate on that.
Well, first off, it can be seen as a good thing because you can chat with friends and other things in VR that you can't do in real life. But the downside is it can be really crappy and it could hurt your eyes or brain.
Yeah, so I personally own the Oculus Go, but I am hoping to get the Oculus Quest. And these are completely wireless. Oculus, please sponsor me. They're completely wireless, really great consoles. But then again, there's also, there's the video game library and stuff, which I talked about on the episode 1 of the podcast. It's like, while you could spend, I don't know, $300 to $400 on an Oculus headset to have these really cool games, there's also, that really good PC game that's gaining in popularity that they do not have on VR. And then there's the Xbox and the PS4 that only have exclusive games to their library. So the question is what should you do? There's always, you could either spend $400 to $300 on a gaming PC or a normal PC with a monitor maybe, or you could spend $400 on a VR headset, or you could even spend that much money on a console or even a laptop. So what is your guys' take on, virtual reality versus computers versus Xboxes versus etc.?
Well,
I think I'll let Kaon speak first.
Alright, thank you. Well, honestly, it's really cool how the VR systems are. Like, you can like reach out to things that you wouldn't normally be able to do and have such an immersive experience with that. And for money, economic wise, it's for such good things. It is really expensive for such experience, such immersive activities to do. It's really annoying how things that look so simple that may have been produced by very little money could cost so much. It's a bit of an outrage on that part, but
So
sometimes it's actually worth it. And when you get your hands on it, you're actually able to be immersed in so many games that could be included, could be added on to different games that are usually different in many ways.
Now that as it is a controversial topic because, there is manufacturing, there's the stuff that goes into making these headsets, and yeah, I understand your point of view, but you gotta understand though that it's like a phone, and these are like supposed to allegedly be gaming phones with a battery, and a gaming phone is at least like $1,000. So them lowering it down to like $300 to $400, I feel like is a very good price. But that's just my opinion. Hot Games, would you like to tell us your opinion on that?
Uptake on the money problems for the consoles and VRs, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's interesting. VR is really interesting. You can interact with so many people worldwide and talk to them nowadays. Back then, it wasn't able to. And it's crazy to think these tiny things.
I'm
cost
sorry
so
if
much.
I may interrupt, but that is another thing. There's, there's the Wi-Fi involved. There's the connections. There's the long distance service. Because I could give you a VR headset if one of you are 5,000 miles away, and we'd still be able to talk. That's the great thing about VR. They still have to do these long distance things, I feel like.
That's pretty true.
So I think we can end off this segment of the show, the sort of console segment, with saying, yes, it's expensive, but it's really worth it for what you're getting and the experience. But you really got to realize, because the Oculus Go is a very limited video game library and has only one controller. It's a very simple headset. It's a great headset, don't get me wrong, but it's a very simple headset. And with the Oculus Quest, it's a much more advanced and better and, I don't know, just all around good headset. And I don't know. Oh, and then there's console VR, virtual reality headsets. There's the PlayStation VR, which is, I do not recommend. There's less play air. There's the TV sensor. I'm not gonna even get into the PlayStation VR. But let's move on to the next part of our show, where we talk about, well, gamer tech. Instead of talking about games or consoles, let's talk about accessories. Finding that perfect accessory for your device is always great. So, Kaon, do you have any things you recommend for like a gaming setup or a Xbox or a controller or something you recommend that could improve?
To be honest, yeah, in a way, I'd say some headsets should really be the most important, because you must have a headset to hear really good in the games, and as well as communicate with your friends or allies.
So there's always the alternative, though, of having a mic. There's some gamers who have mics and headsets. There's some gamers who have headsets. There's some who have mics. What are your thoughts?
So, like, you're talking about microphones for audio recording?
Yes.
Well, to be honest, I have one of my own. I have a Yeti Nano. This is a blue Yeti Nano. This is my opinion of it, what I use. This does not mean if I'm using it, it does not mean you would have better use of it. Like, it's, from how I got it, was like $100 at Best Buy. And the headset I got was basically from Christmas, but a Logitech is really good for gaming, really. Logitech headsets. Mine, the one my brother and I use, are the Logitech G633, and it's fairly well because it has a light up feature which primarily only works for USB for computers, which that's probably the downside for console users, but it's still really a good product. It comes with both a jack that connects to your controller, and then it comes with a USB that will connect to your computer. This is really fascinating how you have two USBs. I think I have my cable right over there.
So you said $100 for this mic. Do you think that's a fair price?
Well, from what I've used for my personal gain, I'd say it's a fair price, yes, but it really depends on what you like in your content, how you want it to work, how you could make it work.
Yeah.
I use this microphone personally for music as well, and for gaming, but the only problem for me is it gets the background noise a little too much, but especially my PS4, it gets that sound from 2-3 feet away, but I'd say it's still a good sound overall. You plug it in USB wise because it has a jack for your headphones to plug in instead of your controller. So then you can listen to the audio of what you're saying, so you can hear what you're saying, and it can be dead on point, and over time it would just wear down where you can hear a delay, which is called latency. good so far.
What'd
As
you
well
say
as my
the
headset.
microphone is called?
My microphone is a blue Yeti Nano.
Okay.
It's a smaller design of its studio successor, which I know of, which I personally know a friend who has it, and it's one of those really good studio kinds. Like he uses it for his OBS software for some actual green screen.
Hey, shout out to OBS, the software I'm using right now to film this podcast.
Really?
Yeah, actually, I'm using OBS right now. It's really.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's how you're able.
CMA.
It's actually how I'm able to monitor the audio, which is really cool.
That is actually really
If you're looking for a really good software for recording your gameplay, I recommend OBS very highly. Hot Games, you haven't talked in a while. What's your take on your content using maybe a headset, a microphone, or both?
Well, I have a headset and a microphone all in one, but the problem is I don't know what the kind is.
Okay, so you feel that having it all in one, would you say that option is cheaper or more expensive? Because, you see these $100 headsets and then you see his $100 mic. What would you say the best option is?
I would say try and find a decent priced one that actually looks like it would be nice and fairly used and something that you might use.
Yeah, okay. Running out of topics, guys. You guys are. Thank you for.
Channel update. What are your plans for your channel?
Who, me? Me?
Like channel updates. Like what are your plans for your channel? There you go. There's an idea.
I'm definitely gonna work on this podcast a lot more. Start publishing more episodes. That's definitely what I'm gonna do.
I too am hoping to start a podcast with my crew and I and my friends.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man.
Well, to be honest, our topics will be varied throughout a lot of media, like the news, what's going on in our world.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
Yeah, I have friends who enjoy many topics.
Yeah, we like.
Festivals, so.
Shoot. Any recording softwares anyone else uses? I use OBS. What do you guys use?
I personally, on computer, I would primarily use iMovie on the computer with the help of screen recording and audio recording from Filmora 9, which is really good so far. I've seen a YouTuber who does really well using that, and he actually got sponsored by Filmora. And for PS4, I use Share Factory, and it's really good. It's built-in free. You have a couple presets. You can put in your own stuff on it, like PNG files for stuff. But I'd like to switch it back to what we're gonna be doing to our own channels and what we'll be planning ahead. Because I honestly, this idea I had for at least a year and a half, and I still have yet to implement it to my channel. The idea I have is an animatic series, which I'm really hyped about. Because I have a new adapter, as I said behind the screens. As I said behind the screens. Sorry, I had to text my mom. She's hearing me over eavesdropping. Anyway, so what I've been planning is to make an animatic series as I have my new equipment and my microphone here. I'm really hoping to start recording audio dialogue for the characters I have created.
Yeah, would you have some sort of voice actors, have your friends as voice actors, or would you have maybe Would someone be animating, helping you animate the video?
Well, personally, I have local friends helping me out with the voices. I'm hoping to get some to actually consider their roles I've thought for them, and some have agreed to actually in one particular. I have the seasons, so it's going to be a short series of it, but there will be seasons added on. One particular season has the additional characters, which are technically adaptations from my friends' media, like
Your friends
their
gave you
ideas
that.
or from their series of their own, and incorporating them to my series. And one of them, I actually told, and then the other, I'm keeping a secret since he is actually a really good friend of mine. He is a good Star Wars fan, and he knows a lot about DC as well. He's really hyped to actually see any type of adaptation of my series, and hopes to see how my series goes.
Hawk
So,
Games,
yeah.
Hawk, is there any software you use particularly for your video?
Well, I'm going to be using a bit of a couple softwares. I'm going to be using in two seasons, I will be using Blender 3D to actually try and model the backgrounds for it. As it is an animatic, they're going to be stationary pictures, but it'll depict what it looks like. One of these seasons has normal picture backgrounds from my own setting, which is based around that setting in where I live.
Okay, Hawk Games, you there?
Yep.
Okay, Hawk, is there any certain software that you use?
Well, my software that I use is iMovie, and the built-in software that I have, which is Camera Roll, for the games I play.
So, is there anything y'all want to shout out before we move on to our next topic?
Not really. The only thing I'd say is right now I'm taking a little break till about maybe February or January, depends. And then I'll start uploading again.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to think what the topic I said I was going to talk about for this segment was called. Oh yeah. Sorry guys, I am just tired. Okay. Oh, here we go. Video games, a blessing or a curse. This is a segment where we talk about all the big controversies between video games and, people who hate video games, people who think video games are potentially violent, people who think video games are bad for society. What are your guys' take on these types of accusations against video games and saying that they are terrible, violent, awful things?
Of course, I'm gonna let Kaon talk at first. I always talk at best. You go first.
Alright, thank you. Well, I kind of hate how the most of the accusations are being placed upon the games by adults and parents alike. It's really rude because they have been younger and they've played certain games that have been a little more different than what we have today. And especially with some articles and posts and whatnot about such things. One post specifically was that, well, not one, but many posts claiming a certain horror game franchise that has been popping up a lot. And they've been Yes. There was one where where this woman's child loved this game and played it, and she was against him because she thought it was demonic and possessed game.
What, Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yes. She thought the game was too demonic in representation. But
so now that's a very controversial topic, because then you have the games where people, Slenderman is a game that led a girl to stab another girl. The girl lived, but they did that, and she said it was to sacrifice her to Slenderman. So it's a very controversial topic, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that there's people out there who would never do something like this and enjoy video games for being video games. And but it's a very, very controversial thing. There's the people, and I feel like there's the people who hate them for the right reasons, or they don't like them for the right reasons, because there are sometimes right reasons to not like video games, but there's also the wrong reasons, and it's sad because the reasons that are wrong are getting so much attention by people that no one realizes the good reasons and the good intentions in people's hearts of disliking video games, because it could hurt someone. And video games are a very, 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 very good thing, and they have advanced and they help people. Minecraft is a very good teaching tool. They use that in school. And then there's games that are just blood and gore that, sure, while they're fine, it's like...
Such as COD.
Yeah, Call of Duty, though. And that's a very controversial thing, People say that violent video games cause, stuff like school shootings, which is really sad, because what it really is mental illness and bullying and depression. And then people, but people want to take away this thing. And this,
their refuge, yeah.
And the sad thing about this world is that people always want something to be mad about, which is, it makes me sad, honestly, that we've come to a society where people are always wanting to be mad at something or someone or about something. And it's just like, if a famous person says, "Oh, I'm voting for this person," they're gonna get hate from tons of people, and it's gonna make the news, and it's gonna do this and that and this and that.
It's gonna cause unwanted attention that doesn't really deserve such attention.
Because people always want something to be mad about, and it's sad, and it's just because, the social age, back in the 80s, they didn't have social media or anything like that. And while it wasn't as advanced, and there are a lot of things that are great now that were bad then, there's still the things that are like, it wasn't as controversial back then as it is now. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And it's like, now, and I know it's kind of an older topic, but people are mad at video games. And it's just because, like, oh, well, we were mad at this, and then we were mad at this. But then again, there's also the good reasons to be mad. There's those people who are upset and are fighting for what is good. And like I said, there's the people who are fighting for what's silly and just straight up dumb. And there's like, if like a rich, famous person was like, "Oh, I think this person sucks," and people hated them, is that a good reason? No. Is that a good reason to hate someone? But then again, if he like robbed a bank, punched a baby, and then jumped off a roof and survived, that's a good reason to maybe hate him. or her, whichever, but it's just like...
Yes, it's really close to these, it's really close to the presidential elections of Donald Trump. Because he talks a lot about things that really make us question if someone who is in charge should really be in charge. It's really disappointing seeing how
So,
such a person,
I'm
such
not
a
really
person
talking about that. I'm
we should be
talking
looking
about
up to.
I'm talking about how bad decisions can get more attention than good decisions. If a man was fired up about, I don't know, saving the earth, and someone supported that cause and that was a good intention, that's not going to get much attention, sadly, because no one, people like bad stuff. There's these drama magazines that all they focus on is, bad stuff. And we may be children, but it's like we understand a lot of what's going on in the world. And people don't give kids much credit. And that's a good segue into this next talk. Kids being treated like, I guess, like parents think we should be, or adults think we should be.
Yeah, like we're taught as kids to be fair with others. Yet if we grow, we notice something is not right. We notice the the parentings are not really usual because they teach you to be nice to anyone,
or even
to be
like
fair, and then you notice something about them that they're not doing what they've taught you.
Or even like noticing political issues or noticing world issues. We're supposed to be video game loving idiots who are brainless, completely brain dead, and hate everything. But why is that such a common stereotype for kids? It's bad. And like, I'll say I love gaming, but I also love playing basketball, and no one knows that, but like, I love playing the sport. And we're supposed to be associated with one thing. And when I start talking and people are like, wow, you use such like proper grammar and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, and I just wonder, why are you impressed? And I get being good and smart at something, but being like, oh my gosh, how are you able to do that? You're supposed to be dumb. It gives me a bit. I understand if I'm being like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and I'm like going at the speed of light, but like, you see, if someone at my age started talking about issues, we'd immediately be, I guess, laughed out, because our opinions, while to a lot of people, there's a lot of good people out there who believe our opinions matter. There's also the people who are like, oh, well, your opinion doesn't matter, you're just a kid. What is it? That was a long thing, but what is your guys' take on that?
Well, yeah, it's really frustrating how judgment is one judgment takes over what you see in someone. It's just,
Okay, so we should
associate with one thing. We do, as human beings, we're tasked with figuring out what we can do, what we can adapt to. I personally love gaming. I do. I'm not good at it, but I love it. It's really, really refreshing. It's like a small refuge. My second ideal occupation is also music, which it helps. Like, listening to music is just such a refuge. It helps concentrate. It gives you more wide understanding of what people listen to, what makes them happy, what makes them sad.
But you're a child. Why are you pursuing your music dreams? Like, that's kind of what people say. Why, you're a child, why are you trying to be a musician? Like, you're not gonna make it. Go play video games. It's sad, but that's what people say. There are people like that.
We grow up with what we feel like we could do, but our such low ambition, we plan on doing things we think we like and what we could do to make things better or at least help. It's just really sad seeing people think, oh, you shouldn't do this. You should do this. You're just like every other kid. You should do this. Like just because you're a kid does not mean you should only do what people tell you or what you should be doing. You should ignore them. You should just do what you think is right. When you feel like you should go on to. It's like that's how we are. We adapt to what we know and what we see around us.
Yeah.
It's really.
So we should probably get back on topic of video games. It's kind of, this podcast went to like a very, very shifted. But
I shift a lot.
So we should talk about someone pick a random game. Hot Games, you haven't talked in a while. Pick a random game. Hawk?
Wait.
Hawk Games, are you there?
Well, mystery and thinking strategies like FNAF, like you don't expect that to be such a smart game, but you look at the small details, it's really intuitive, really genius. It's supposed to be a horror, but over time they shift the point of view somewhere else. Like, it's just meant to be scary, but then when you see it closer, you see there's a lore behind this. There is something we can search on our own. We can theorize. We can figure out. No matter what we are.
So you're saying that Five Nights at Freddy's is a complex thinking game?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's really genius. Like, at first you see a horror game, just nothing to do but survive. But when you think about it, there are puzzles in this game. There are little tiny details you can do to improve your choices within the game. How to exceed expectations of it.
Well, with that, this is going to end episode 2 of the Cosmic Games podcast thingy featuring Hot Games and Optimized Productions. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you for watching. Peace.